Laying low, waiting for the day, like a lone wolf stalking its prey. You can try to hide, you can try to run. I can't sense, I smell the blood. I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you.
Hi, my name is James Schmitt. I'm from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. And when I'm back home in the Pittsburgh area, you can find me at my local farmer's store.
We had that golden boot pride at Parmar. There are literally hundreds of Parmar stores in West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and even more on the way. Download the Parmar app to save even more. And whether it's food, gas, groceries, or whatever, we have you covered at Parmar. West Virginia proud and ready to serve you.
If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
Where the true Golden Blue faithful go for the best in beer, burgers, pizza, wings, and more? It's the Mountaineer Tap House on the Evansdale campus. Mountaineer Tap House features well over 40 craft beers on tap, plus the best appetizers, salads, burgers, wings, pizza, and tacos the University City has to offer. Enjoy their exclusive craft cocktails too. Dine on the balcony or chill out inside with walls and walls of TVs. Follow Mountaineer Tap House on social media. Mountaineer Tap House, second floor above the Parmar store on the Evansdale campus.
Okay, here we go. Mountaineer Legends pregame with a whole bunch of, I don't know. We got some legends over there, but they are some ugly legends right there. You got Schmitt, Mike Collins. You have Big Joe's. We're gonna have Major Harris. We're gonna have Aaron Beasley. And wow, I'll tell you what, man, this is great. We got the beer truck in Myrtle Beach. What could go wrong? Possibly. I mean, it's unbelievable. Mountaineer Legends pregame. We're coming at you. This is the Kansas Jayhawks, and it's the opening night in Mountaineer Field. It's a gold rush game. And I know you want to hear from these legends and find out what they're doing down at the Sundown Restaurant down in Myrtle Beach, having a good time, but also hanging with some Mountaineers with that alumni group down there. So you're doing great work, fellas. Let's talk first to Big Bad Brian Joswiak. Joes, what's going down in Myrtle Beach, baby?
Hey, it's going down, Wolf, and you know that's what you were talking about there with the Mountaineer fan. There's nothing more than being able to spend some time with some good Mountaineer folks, and we're down here getting ready to watch this here this evening against Kansas. And hey, it's wonderful to have all these legends. We're all ugly, brother. We're all ugly, and you're part of the ugly. So I love you, man.
All right. Mike, I see you there. You're in the middle of the screen, so you're taking center stage. I thought you might have your old shoulder pads on, as big as they were, but you're still like you can play there, Michael Collins, team captain, and a force for the Mountaineers for at least a good 5 years. If I remember, you got redshirted, right?
I redshirted, yes, 1 year.
All right. Tell us, how's it going in Myrtle Beach?
Can you hear me, Joe? Or can you hear me, Wolf?
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit, buddy.
But now we're having a really good time here. Good day. A little warm right now. So like Joe's said, some some alumni group and people, and spreading some Mountaineer chairs, ready to watch them win a game. How about that?
Well, I think that's pretty special. And let's get, of course, Owen Schmitt, the runaway beer truck. And Schmitty, what's happening down at the beach?
My dog. We're on the corner of Pop Drive and Surf in Myrtle Beach, having a great time. We got a bunch of Mountaineer fans out here. We got some food menus, some beers rolling, and we expect a Mountaineer victory.
You expect the Mountaineer victory. Let's go. We're going to get into Kansas, but let's go ahead. Let's get back and talk about last week, because we all know about the brawl. The brawl was heavy. The brawl hurt. There's no doubt there's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of passion involved for the entire team, the coaches, the fans, the state. I mean, it was something to watch a great game like that, to come down to what I call self-inflicted injuries, self-inflicted wounds, to lose the game. They were not out talented. They were not out hit, in my opinion. The physicality was there. So I'm going to go to you, Brian Joswiak. I want you to tell me, what are your thoughts when you just think of what happened, what went down at the brawl, and what do they have to do to get back up? And he's locked out. Let's go to our senior correspondent.
Can you hear me?
Mike Collins. Let's go, because
what can we do? Hey, to answer your, we have to execute today, Wolf. I think this is a game for this season, to be honest with you. What you said about our game with True, we weren't out talented, we weren't out hit. We just didn't make them dumb. And you know, I'm hopeful that we'll respond very well tonight. And if they can't be juiced for the first night game in 4 years, gold rush, and home opener, then you know it's going to say a lot about the team, and really, really expect them to respond well and come out really juiced. And I really do. I'm you know, obviously I'm very optimistic about the Mountaineers, but I think they'll be successful. They'll bounce back.
Well, there's no doubt I think that they'll bounce back, and I don't think you have to worry about it. But, you know, you're an old school guy, okay? You're up in Minnesota right now. North guy, you're tough in the winters. You've been living it tough since you left college, okay? Tough guy, right? What did you think of that? What did you think of that physicality that you watched? Because I don't know if we've seen that, at least in all phases all the time, for the past few years. I think with Neil Brown and staff, they're trying to get to that direction. And last Thursday, to me, was the first time I watched all three phases doing what they're supposed to be doing.
I agree. You know, last week was the offensive line and how they set the tone. And, you know, they really good front seven in the University of Pittsburgh. And, you know, they had their moments where they played really well. And physically up front, defensively, we really well. So, you know, I was surprised, just like you. It's the first time that we've really seen that grit, that you know, how that physical aspect and that physicality and playing in all three phases. Now, we played very well, but we haven't necessarily put it together on offense, and it was fun to watch. And the other thing, our bodies, our team look good, man. I think we have a chance. It's just tonight.
All right. So let me get really fired up here. Let me get excited, man, right? Because I saw some bloody knuckles. You know, I don't have to tell you what bloody knuckles means, right? But I will tell you this. Did not wait. Okay, dude. You see Beer Truck trying to come on right there.
Yeah.
But listen,
Hey,
like,
you're talking about bloody
cannot-
knuckles. That's
Yeah.
a bloody knuckle guy
That's-
right there, right?
And when I look and I see that secondary, and they have all this talent, but you know what, Mike? They missed some open field tackles. Now you can say whatever you want to say about you can't practice it, you can't do this, but again, we have 3 guys that transferred in from FCS or G5. Now, does it take a minute to get used to Power 5?
I don't think so. I think if they're on the field, then they've already been actually. You got your opportunity. You got to make a play. And I was like you. I was a little just disappointed in front. But now on the flip side of that, and not creating excuses, we did have early in the game. We had a guy get tossed from the game with a targeting call. But for us to be successful defensively, we've got to be able to tackle in space on the back end. And if we can't do it, really hamper our ability to do specific things defensively in regards to blitzing and protect those guys. So again, I'm talking about response. This is a night, and I'm expecting them to respond. So we'll see.
What do you have to do to start getting better at open field tackling when you can't go live? Give me the answer, right, Professor Mikey. Give me the answer, because I want to know what they can do to improve, because they got all these gimmicks, these catch the tire, hit the tire, the moving target. What can they do to assimilate going Power 5 speed? Make those things, because I'll tell you what, Slovis, the quarterback for Pitt, he had 308 yards of passing last week, and I guarantee you in 3 or 4 throws, there was 120 yards given up after the first tackle.
And, it was the yards after that yards after the catch. And he threw for 308, but if we would have tackled, it probably would have been 250 or 2.
I think it would have been 200.
What can they do? Maybe you don't put a guy on the ground, but you got to practice getting in front of a guy. You got to practice moving. You got to practice. And one of the drills that we used to practice when Coach Danlop was there was hit, wrap, and grab, but grab cloth. That's part of the tackle. It's not just using your shoulder, but grabbing that cloth, getting your hands on people, and that's not a simulation. We're talking about that. Just you got to get calluses on your hands, right? When you're lifting, you got to work there. The same thing with our get calluses, and those calluses and those practice with the tackling drills and things of that nature. Maybe we're out to the ground, but we've got to get our calluses. We've got to get tougher. We've got to do it. You can't improve if you don't practice it.
Okay, so Schmitt, let's go to this. You're a fullback at heart, total guy that loves the box. You lived in the box, you blocked in the box, you ran through the box. What did you think of the defensive line for the Mountaineers? And, of course, the linebackers, Lee Koba, first time double-digit tackles in his first game as a Mountaineer.
I think Lee had a great first game. He is a man to look at. Strong, fast, physical guy. A lot of big things from him in the future. Obviously, this game, like I do a podcast with Jed Drenning in the Gun podcast, and we talked about fundamentals of wrapping up, right? Kind of like what Mike just kind of spoke on a little. On some of that stuff, got to get in there, got to get some other drills to get these guys to realize. The D line I thought did absolutely stupendous for what we did. A depth at D line this year. I thought Stills great game as well. He was physical. You can tell the working out he did in the offseason helped him tremendously with his endurance, his strength, his speed. Back and a half in the game. and a few tackles as well. To improve. Pitt's a good football team. Yeah. I thought we did we did it for a game of the season in a very hostile crowd. I thought we were punched in the mouth and we punched back as well. And I think this game we recoup, we fix those corrections, and we come out today and we show the hard work we put in.
Okay, solid. Joe, let me ask you this. You've been in some heavyweight fights, man. You see the great ones from Ali and Frazier and all those tough bouts. You don't come out shiny. You come out bloody. And with that being said is
it's a battle.
On Thursday.
It was, that's just the way that game is. It's a bloodbath. It's a rivalry game, and it's a big, Pitt came in with a heck of a football team, and we had very high expectations. You get in a battle like that, and it's that daggone close, back and forth, like you're talking about that. It's the one, it's the group or the team or the individual that makes the least number of mistakes. We just made some real critical mistakes at some real critical times in that game. But you know what, Wolf? We never quit. We fought to the wire, them bad situations, and I thought the guys battled right to the very end. Done. But I think we can hang our hat on the fact that we're a better football team, and we're probably the better football team that this guy Neil Brown's had since he's been here. It's Vegas point, but ultimately, then it comes down to the guys in that locker room. Do they trust each other enough? Do they love each other enough that when they get into the heat of battle, instead of pointing fingers and making excuses? And I think we kind of saw that shit. And those guys staying with each other and getting fired up together a long way. And today's game, it matters most because when you lose, where you're drained emotionally, and you've been working on that game for months, and you got to hang that now. It's got to be gone. I'm almost thankful we had that game on Thursday because the whole big long weekend to just lick the wounds, get over it. But hey, baby, it's game day today up right now. So all that stuff that we're talking about don't matter. What matters now is, are we 6 o'clock tonight?
Yeah, there's no doubt. And we'll get to Kansas here in a little bit, but continue on this Pittsburgh review by what you guys see, because I saw a defensive line, and Dante Stills, we know what Dante did. Schmitt talked about Dante, how tough he was. But, there's a thing there that's like when Dante's playing well, that means that they're putting a lot of attention to him because you have to stop him. The other guys can then step up and perform, and it's vice versa. It's likewise. When you see Jordan Jefferson, who's the strongest guy on the defense, taking that center, and then you see, of course, Taj Alston, who's come back from all those injuries, and he's just getting better and better from last year to now this year. And then you look at some of even the young guys stepping up to Carr, Jared Hartley. I mean, JB, he was an Iron Mountaineer that most people don't remember. And this season that this guys have put the time in there. This defensive line took an offensive line last year that won the ACC, an offensive line that won ACC with all 5 returning starters. They took a tight end. They took the tight end out, and they put another offensive lineman in. They had 6 offensive linemen running heavy personnel, and they even once or twice put in a 7th offensive lineman. That defensive line for the Mountaineers, in my opinion, was phenomenal.
I agree. They played really well. They set the tone.
Line of scrimmage.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, just like Joseph was saying, we got to own the line of scrimmage, offense and defense, and I mentioned that last week. That's the tone setters, and they played well, man. Got to put it all together. We got to put it all together on every level. Those guys on the back end have to do their part. They got to down. And if we can do that, then this defense could really be very, very good. You know, they threw for 308 yards, but how many yards rushing did they have? I think we stuffed the running. We forced them into passes.
1.9 yards per rush. They had
exactly.
They got stoned.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's, you know, up front linebackers and yeah, Joe's. I mean, what do you think? I mean, they played well.
They did. Go ahead, Joe's. Continue.
I didn't hear that last piece, Mike.
Oh, just talking about our defense, our defensive line, and how well they played in the game. And, you know, it's what you and I, and this, the infectiousness of that physical aspect of your offensive line and that attitude when they play hard and they're playing physical, that impacts the entire rest of the team does that. What I said now,
yeah.
the defensive backs, they got to do their part.
And I'm going back to what Wolf was talking about. When your defensive line, you know, they play three, they're taking up their gaps and they're making two guys block one. That lets out and make their plays. That's why we had double-digit tackles from linebackers, because they're up there causing problems. They're getting some penetration. They're making them linemen, you know, change their scheme a little bit, and maybe that double team has to last a little bit. Those linebackers to free flow and do their thing. And yeah, the boxes to watch. They got their hands full coming up every week because line the trench. And you got to earn that. You got to want it more than the other guy, and you got to be able to business. So hopefully we learned a little bit. And, you know, that's the big thing is you know, we did a couple of things up front. I thought at times our protect, but then G took some hits, man. You know, we got to be able to overcome it. We blitz pickups late in the game. They brought that A gap up in there, and we didn't get it picked up, or the running back. It don't matter. You got to clean that up, because when it's critical, and it, you know, we made a couple of critical mistakes. And again, I go back to when you had and that much into it, it's the team that makes that fuel.
All right, Mike, you there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
So let's go. So we talked about the defensive line. They had 5 sacks. Sacks. Actually came from some safeties coming up in the box. Davis Mallender, okay, and then of course Aubrey Burks, who I think are really 2 young safeties that are going to be fantastic. And they just keep getting better. And they like to hit, man. Did you see Aubrey Burks? He actually ran down the wide receiver, I think it was Wayne, that got the ball, and there was a missed tackle between the 2 defenders, and he ran the guy down to the 1-yard line. Now, he could have let it score, but he didn't. It says a lot about his character.
Right. That desire, that want to get after it. That, you know, that they have that in them. It's just, let's get it. Let's not on yard line. It's like, you know, we need some more guys making tackles. We need those guys to step it up. And, you know, I keep saying it over and over. Tonight is going to set the tone for the remainder of the season. And, you know, physically, defensively, in the defensive backfield, if they can up and improve, and, you know, you normally have your most improvement between game 1 and game 2. A lot of things. We got a Kansas team that's going to come in. They're going to try to run the ball. They're going to be physical to lose. I mean, they're coming here to win. So, you know, we've got to be ready, and that's the nice thing about this opponent is they're going to test us. So that's going. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, you know, that's good news. And what I like to say, listen, I'm going to go down the list here. Jordan Jefferson, man, he turned into a beast. You got Dante Stills, you got Liddell Carr, Jared Bartlett, you know, Taj Alston. You even have Sean Martin had a sack right up there out of Southern West Virginia. That cat is going to be special. He keeps getting better and better. And then you think about, Lee Coba, he double-digit the tackles. He had double-digit tackles with 10. That's your first game. Think about this. It was the largest crowd in Pittsburgh history live there at the stadium. It was one of the largest on a Thursday night, 5 years for ESPN. How would you feel coming in as a junior college guy, stepping up in your first game, and you're playing against the ACC champs with all returning 5 starting offensive linemen? You got a USC quarterback that was very capable, very doable, and the defense had a great challenge. They had running back by committee like Kansas does tonight. But when you look at that, I think the defense really stood up when they had to, except for when they allowed that 92-yard drive. That was the time when they needed to stand up. They had 2 3-and-outs right before that. And, people want to go on this decision about should you have punted the ball? Should you have should you have gone for the first down? And Schmitt, I'm going to address this to you first. Is my thought, and I'm going to tell you straight up, my thought is I don't care what you do, just do it right and be successful. Because if you put it down to the 8 like they did, you stop them on defense, and then they put the ball back, and guess what? You're in position to score. If you go ahead and go for the first down, you go ahead and you get those inches on first down. Now, I would have gone for it, in my own opinion, but it doesn't matter because I expect those guys in their positions, defensively, offensively, to do their jobs. Now, if you put the ball and it's down there at the 8-yard line, the defense stops them, it's a non-issue. Nobody's talking about it. There's so many other events on in the game, so many other plays. If you go ahead and make that first down, nobody's talking about it. Again, both ways, you probably win the game. But either way, if you fail, you're screwed. There's no right choice except to make the choice to be successful.
Yeah, I think as far as the end, a big word I just learned here, BSing with the boys about the game a little bit. It's a smart play in my opinion, and Mike and I kind of spoke on this as well. The defense is playing hot. You want, they're driving 92 yards in tough targeting call that we got, which kind of led to the events, the 3 big hit, to be able to seal the deal on that drive. So occurred before that. That did happen. We also spoke a little bit about 4th inches package, 4th and short package. Do they really have an answer for and on that play, if you break it down a little bit, they kind of got the play and discussing the play, what was really going on. I think they maybe, as far as his play calling, probably definitely wanted to go for it. There might have been, maybe we shouldn't. Let's play it safe here. Not a bad call really either with hero if you get it. We would have been the hero if we would have stopped it. But I hope we have an answer for those 4th and short situations. CJ Donaldson did the ball. Big, strong, physical guy, ran through arm tackles. That's what you want to see in a big. Maybe we incorporate him a little bit in the forgotten I formation and bring something back to be able to answer those calls on 4th and shorts.
When you say that I formation, that forgotten I formation, are you talking about having a big old dog at fullback, either getting the ball, say on a dive play, or actually going in and blocking for the tailback back there in that short yardage situation?
So, however our team wants to structure it, whether you put a tight end back there or you get a big guard in there to run that position, we have to have the ability to be able to get those up in there 4 yard, give that O-line a little bit of confidence and say, look, boys, hey, I want this or not. It's all guts. You know what I mean? And those situations like that, right? And we need that play in there or plays in there to be able to go. I mean, to maybe even see a play action, and we throw it up top. They were on that 4th and short. Looked like they were about to pinch, probably. Obviously, we did run that. So we'll just have to see. Hopefully, Neil and the crew made the adjustments with those situations again, and we're able to make the plays.
Okay, Brian Joswiak, let's talk here for a second. We've both been offensive linemen. We understand what it is on short yardage situation. We both had the same coaches with Mike Jacobs, Dave McMichaels. And the last thing you wanted to do as an offensive lineman was to have it 3rd or 4th and short, especially 4th and short, and to run off the field unsuccessful. What is that mentality? Where does it come from? How do you maintain it? And how do you say, regardless of what is going on around us, we're going to get that half a yard, that half a foot, whatever it takes. Shoot.
I'm with you as an offensive lineman. Put it on my back. Put it on the offense's back to get their job done. And you said that just a couple of seconds ago about how important it is. But, we've been talking about this offensive lineman for West Virginia being, maybe there in a long time. Well, then show them and give it to them. Let those guys there and get that confidence. Now, on the flip side of that, we didn't go to the sideline, but guess what? To get your job done, I can't envision making issues that I have nothing to do with. I don't make any play calls. I call, and whatever that is, I've got to have a 100% belief in it because, and I don't like the play call. Am I really going to be able to get 1,000 done when the guy in front of me is trying to rip my face off? It ain't going to happen. But I've got to have confidence. You guys were talking about that earlier. How do you get that confidence? You drill it in practice. You get this over and over and over again. So when you get into those tight moments, you're able to come over, man, and keep the drive alive. It's a game of inches. You got to get that next first down and score, run out the clock, do whatever we got to do to end the game. But I would have loved to have had the opportunity as an offensive line. Put it on my back. Let's go. Give it, and let's go get a freaking yard. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no doubt when you think about it. Joe, I can remember Mike Jacobs. Now, remember, Mike Jacobs was the offensive center and guards coach, and he was the offensive coordinator for the 2 perfect seasons for the Mountaineers, 11-0. And when I came off that field, if I was ever unsuccessful, I think I got called to the phone one time because he was always in the box. And that was the one time only that I ever needed to be called to – I see you there, Mike – be called to the phone because it was a disaster. It was – you feared to be called on that phone. And I want to know, does this offensive line, do they have that fear of failure? Because when I was there on 4th and inches, I'm 4-man scramble. I'm 4-arming. I'm scrambling. I'm not even standing up. I'm trying to scramble. I'm trying to get that push. I had the fear in me through Mike James. Does this offensive line have that?
Well, I guess we're just going to find out. And is it the coach, or is it going to come from within? A guy like Zach Frazier grabbing it, control, which I think he's doing. But, that's hard to do, too, when you're the center and you got to make, you got to stay really kind of, you can't get too emotional when you're that because your head gets all twisted up. You know what I mean? But I think that's where I'm from, inside that line, and those guys in that meeting room, they got, and we're going to get tested, Wolf. We're just going to get tested themselves. They got to prove themselves.
Okay, offensive line. Let's move on. We have a tight end, Mike O'Laughlin, Big O. He had 1 catch last week. He was targeted twice. He's 6'5", 255 pounds. I believe, and this actually is going to go to Schmitt here. I believe that the tight end in college football, not the NFL, the tight end is totally underutilized.
So,
Hey, just don't cover the seam route with a tight end vertical.
Yeah, I mean, we got to be able to utilize tight ends in those situations with those guys and not bring in a traditional fullback as we would. CJ, but I don't know if he would be the guy I'd want lead have the ability to. I like him back having the ball in his hands. He's a tough guy who made it earlier. But yeah, put that tight end in there. Hey, get low. It's a yards. We have to win this year. That is how it goes. That's how the game is won. It's a game. We have to be able to move the ball in situations on 3rd and 4th and shorts when we need to. And big time players make big time plays in big time games. So, the big uglies up front, give that tight end or slash fullback, whatever you want to call him, to gain that confidence throughout the games, right, and to build your team. And fan looking from the stands in, we want to be able to go for it on 4th and 1 to be able to close games in tight situations.
There's no doubt that they want to go ahead and be able to do that on 4th down. They have some young bucks now. Now they have 3 offensive linemen from the state of West Virginia. You got Schmitt, the left guard, who's from Pittsburgh, Bethel Park, right up the road. And of course, now they have Doug Nestor moving out to right tackle. You got Robert Jordan going into right guard. He's from Maryland. It's all local. It's all regional here. But what did you think when you saw that offensive line? Because if you listen to JT Daniels, he was in full control of the protection calling. He called it out and said, I was in control. And he says that you're going to get hit because they were bringing 5, 6, and sometimes 7 guys because that's Patton or doozy. And they gave up 7 pressures. The offensive line only gave up 1 sack. What was your opinion on what was happening?
Honestly, I thought the offensive line. Let me rewind a little bit.
Sure.
That defensive front we faced, there's a lot of NFL potential on that defensive line. If you look and see what they were doing, work up front, those are selfless players, creating, twisting around in those stunt formations to be able to make plays. Job picking those situations up. And look, there's time you got. So you're going to be able to have to get the ball out quick, right? You're going to have to be able to stop somewhat of a rush to give JT time. He doesn't need a lot of phenomenal player, phenomenal athlete, phenomenal mind of the game. And it was a pleasure to watch a guy out there commanding his team.
Yeah, he was close to 60% with Narduzzi's defense, just blitzing. And he really made some throws. And what I saw from my own part is I saw a guy that not only had composure in the pocket under the duress, his guys are falling on his legs, they're hitting his shoulders when he's throwing. I mean, he was under duress, and that's what a big boy brawl is all about. But, there's a new sheriff in town. He solidified himself as the starter. We're not talking any controversy here. But he also, at the same time, protected his guys. He said that, hey, we had some miscues. We're going to clean that up. I have all the faith in the world in these guys. That's a leader, Schmitt. That's what leaders do. And he stood up at that first post-press conference, and he told everybody, go with me, follow me, and I'll lead you to better lands.
Yeah, and it was very apparent on the field. I wanted some prettiest back shoulder throws from JT. He took some hard shots, was able to navigate himself within the pocket at times when he needed to, step ups when pressure got tough. And his player, a guy who is the man, showed us he's the man. That's what you want leading the team. I know that there was some stuff in the press get on, you know, some of the receivers straight up knock those questions down. Hey, look, we got a great team, and we're going to tune-up game we just played against Pitt. All right, Pitt's not a tune-up team. All right? We just faced the 16th ranked team in the country from last year, the reigning ACC champs. As far as I'm concerned, with our, I thought it was a very solid performance. I still say to myself, I hate, it's one thing if you beat, right? It's another thing if you're situations where that's kind of what ended up happening in this game. And I'll take that. I thought our guys fought hard. We battled hard. We showed true tenacity of adversity. We just need to clean some things up, make some plays in some situations. And there were some unfortunate things, like I said, with the targeting call the game we played today. And hopefully this week we clean those things up and we come prepared to play.
There's a running back I want to talk about, and it's not C.J. Donaldson, because we all know what he did. And, he actually had some pretty big holes to run through. I mean, they were running, of course, a little bit of counter. They were running the split zone, which is where the tight end came across and kicked out the defensive end, and the rest of the offense the other way. So it gets a divide, right? Open up the Red Sea. And they really did a good job. But the thing that I was really impressed with, JT Daniels changed a couple of the play calls so that he saw that defensive look, he could give it to CJ. So what he did with his mind is put the offense in a better position to have more favors, to have more success, because that's how intelligent he really is.
Yeah, he's a very minded guy. To some people might maybe see him in social situations a little bit different, but he is a true football guy. He is 100%. I love seeing him play. I loved reading the articles this off season about him before, but being able to see him in action, he's 100% happy he's with us, and he's going to be able to make those calls in those situations. Right? They see what the defense is giving them, and with a guy like that, a vet guy like that, a seasoned guy who knows the game, knows the playbook, is getting.
All right. I think Schmitt there got a little bit tied up down there on the network. What I really was trying to get at, too, was Tony Mathis, who averaged 4.5 yards per rush, really had an excellent opportunity to showcase what he did. Got a little lost in the C.J. Donaldson, the whole thing of 125 yards. Tony Mathis, 4.5 yards per rush, coming back there, all good stuff. I'm going to go ahead and take a break here. We're going to come back here in a few minutes. Right now, we're going to shut it down. But again, this is Mountaineer Legends pregame. I apologize for the technical difficulties down there, but the fellas are having a good time with the Mountaineers in Myrtle Beach at the Sundown Restaurant. That is the alumni chapter down there at Myrtle Beach. They're getting ready for the big Kansas Jayhawks. We'll see you here in a few